Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email me, tmosso@thewatchbox.com. It's in the description below. Your purchase and pricing email question line for buying this or any watch you see on any of our platforms. Please reach out to me directly. Email tmosso@thewatchbox.com for pricing. Today we're discussing a lush and lovely Rolex Oyster Perpetual Cosmograph Daytona, originally sold in 2021. This is the 116509 in white gold, really gray gold. More on that in a moment. The watch features set gems, a black mother-of-pearl dial, and crystalline white gold sub-registers. This watch is full of features. It's 40 millimeters in diameter, 12.3 millimeters thick. If we just do lug-to-lug, the case is 47.7 millimeters, 51.8 millimeters from end link to end link across the wrist with a 20 millimeter spacing between the lugs. Now we pop open the clasp, we throw the watch on the wrist. My wrist is 16 centimeters in circumference, and it wears beautifully. It is broad because of the end link dimensions, but I can still recommend this watch for a wrist as small as 14 centimeters in circumference. You can see it's super flat. It will fit underneath the cuff. There's your over the top. There's your cuff shot. And then here's your down the barrel, where you can see that although the end links are broad, the lugs themselves come nowhere near the edge of my wrist. Rolex has its own foundry. It smelts its own gold alloys. It makes its cases, bracelets, and clasps. Gray gold is a gold used by Rolex, Patek, Grubel, JLC, and many other high-end independents. It is white all the way through. Unlike cheap white gold, which needs to be rhodium plated, this is white all the way through, does not need to be plated. And you can see it's got a little bit of a warmth to it, whereas rhodium plated white gold is blindingly white. Rhodium plated white gold would be like this steel watch. You can see this is a little bit warmer. It's the real deal. This is gray gold, 18 karat white that never needs plating. You can see that the end link integrates with the case, not Nautilus style, but it creates a better match between case, flank, and bracelet. The bracelet tapers down toward the clasp. You can see outer face is polished, satin shoulders. The center links are polished and staggered within their alignment with the shoulders. We have removable links fixed by screws on both sides. That's how you size. We also have the ability to size in or out 5 millimeters with easy link, snap in, snap out. I don't know how well you can see this here, but there are 3 pairs of divots inside the clasp right here. So you have 3 different mounting points for the spring bar, so you can use your strap tool to change the anchoring inside of the clasp. So you've got the removable links, easy link, and then those 3 divots. That's how you size. We have a thick gauge clasp that has a spring-loaded lift lock. You can see this is your first lock. It's got a beak and a hook. This is actually locked. You can't just pull that open. Then you have a clamshell, so it's 2 locking factors with a little kerf underneath the crown, so you can dig your nail in and pop it open. Now rolling back to the case, you can see that it's fluid, it's lively, it's sinuous and sexy. It's not the squared off sheer super case that we see on GMTs, subs, and sea dwellers. This is more of a throwback to another era. And I have to say that since the first 40 millimeter automatic Daytona arrived in 1988, the line has had more styling stability and immunity to planned obsolescence than any other Rolex product line. That Daytona was created near perfect, and Rolex has stayed very, very, very true to that concept. So the watch is slim, it's reasonable in size, it's got screw-down crown, screw-down chronograph pushers, screwed-in Oyster caseback, 100-meter water resistance. The bezel features a little bevel on its edge, and then a conical profile that includes a tachymeter scale with lacquer for the numerals and the indices. So you use the chronograph seconds hand with the tachymeter to gauge the speed of a car over a kilometer. That's the classic example. You can use other distances and other speed standards and units. You just got to be good with the mental math if you do. It's most natural when you're dealing with something running over a kilometer. The dial is black mother of pearl, which is always an odd term for it because black mother of pearl has a very pronounced prismatic effect. And just as if you take a black ink Sharpie and you start diffusing the ink with water, you'll get a rainbow of colors. And you get that rainbow of colors in a sort of chatoyancy or 3-dimensional glimmer on the mother of pearl itself. It looks anything but black. We have white gold hands, crown. The underlying indices below the diamonds are white gold. We also have white gold numerals. The idea behind having all this gold on the dial is that these elements won't oxidize or tarnish over time, as the gold will not fade. We also have fluted baton hands at the center, and then we have crystalline white gold subregisters. It looks like meteorite. It's actually a type of white gold. You can see that each one of those is sunken with a polished chapter ring. We do have a little bit of lume. It's Rolex's Chromolite Blue lume. Underneath the case back, Rolex manufactured caliber 4130, bidirectional automatic winding with a rotor that sits on a ball bearing. It's got a 72-hour power reserve, a stop seconds function. It's got a chronograph with a crisp column wheel and a smooth, seamless vertical clutch, so the chronograph starts without stagger, and if you wish, you can leave it running on a full-time basis. There's no additional wear and tear with a vertical clutch. It pivots on 44 joules. The beat rate is 4 hertz, 8 beats per second. For shock tolerance, we have a full balance bridge and a free sprung balance. We have an overcoil hairspring so that the watch keeps consistent time in every position. An overcoil hairspring's mass, after all, is centered, so it will not accelerate or slow in different positions. That overcoil is made of a blue oxidized niobium zirconium alloy Rolex calls Parachrom Blue. It is extremely anti-magnetic, and while the watch movement does meet the standards of a COSC chronometer, Rolex then cases it up, tests it in 6 positions, and attests that it will run no worse than -2 + 2 seconds per 24 hours. That's the basis of that term superlative chronometer in the modern era, post-2015. That's what it means. If you love this watch, reach out to me, T Mosso at thewatchbox.com for pricing.